That won't change. So there it goes. It's gonna be, have to hit the space bar twice. Okay, you're recording. Okay, I'll call the chapter 22 business meeting to order, and we can start with Vinny reading our minutes from our April meeting.
All right. Meeting of April 20th, 2022. Meeting called to order at 7:05 by Tom. March 2022 minutes were read. A motion to approve by George Brongard, seconded by Pete Peters. Motion passed. Treasurer's report. A few vendors signed up for Expo 22. Payments have been processed. Officers have received bank statements. New York State cashed our not-for-profit check. Why is that doing that again? I thought I killed it. Anyway, motion approved by Tom, seconded by Vinny. Motion passed. Under frequency coordination, received an email on behalf of Dish Network regarding repurposed AWS site locations by market. AWS 4 frequency ranges between 2000 and 2200 megahertz and 5G mobile broadband based on 3GPP. Certification, nothing to report. Old business, none. New business, May meeting, will be May 18th. Program will be Eddy Vanderkerken from Sourcerer. June 15th will be TVU with Al Cornack. No July or August meetings have been scheduled. NAB begins April 23rd. SBE will be there. Member renewal dues or renewal deadline and dues were March or April 1st. You can still renew through June. That's the last time, and then they drop you. The next certification exams will be August 5th through the 15th. You need to apply by June 10th. The membership drive runs through May 31st. The compensation survey has started. Expo will be September 28th through 29th. Exhibitor registration is open on the website, as is attendee registration. Wiz is working on papers. The attendee database needs some work. Always looking for help with any convention-related stuff. Contact Tom if you can spare some time. A motion to adjourn at 7:20 by Tom, seconded by Pete Peters. Motion passed. The program was Eric Schaffner of Infinite Electronics talking about lightning. Any changes, corrections, additions?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. Chapter 22 member to second that, please. Pete?
Second it.
Anwar.
All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Moving on, treasurer's report, Gary.
Well, last week I received a letter addressed to Roy Taylor at my address from the Office of the New York State Attorney General, Division of Social Justice, Charities Bureau. It is a notice of incomplete filing for the fiscal year noted above. However, the submission was incomplete for the following reason. You did not submit copies of the required IRS forms. And this is for the annual filing for the year ended 6/30/2020. So I contacted the people who do our taxes, and they sent me another copy of it, and I have sent that off to their office in New York City. But it seems odd that they would just now be missing a document from 2020, but
This is New York State.
New York State, yeah.
I know.
Doesn't
everything-
surprise me.
I was gonna say they have a tractor trailer truck of paper processed forms that they haven't got to yet since the pandemic started, so not a surprise.
I know we filed, and everything was sent, but was that under Jim or under Roy at the time? 2020.
No,
would've
In the IRS form that they sent me, I noticed that Jim is listed as treasurer.
Okay. I made copies of everything. I'll have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I signed everything and sent it back to Jim. So, okay. Oh,
Excuse me,
thanks for taking care of that.
is that something we should be concerned about?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank you.
We don't owe tax, right? We don't,
No, we don't. We don't.
right? It's
I don't
just the
think so.
filing. So,
We donated everything.
so they can't penalize us for or add interest on to anything. So, okay.
No, actually, we don't file a tax form with the state of New York. We file this information with them to demonstrate that we don't need to.
Okay.
That we don't need to file a.
Okay. That's right. That's right.
And that to do that, we have to purchase two certificates. I forget what they are, but in any event, that costs us $50 annually to file to file the paperwork.
That says we don't
Says
know
we don't
anything.
need to file the paperwork.
It's New York for you.
Yeah.
So that's it with the treasurer's report. Excuse me.
Yeah, there's nothing else going on.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Who would like to second that?
I'll do that.
Any? All in favor, aye.
All right.
Opposed, nay. Certification, frequency coordination, Gary?
Crickets. Absolutely nothing.
Okay. Does anybody have any other old business they'd like to discuss? Moving on to new business. Future meetings. We're still virtual until further notice. Wednesday, June 15th. The presentation will be by Jared Timmons from TVU Networks, the micro migration to the cloud. There'll be a description of that up on the website tomorrow or Friday, whenever I get to it. Definitely by the end of the week, and I'll send an email blast out probably Monday. Thursday, September 29th, our expo at Ramada Inn, Liverpool. So mark that on your calendars. No meetings in July and August. Notes from Jim Ragsdale. Well, first of all, Jim Ragsdale has started a monthly SBE chapter chairs meeting via Zoom. The first one was held on Monday, May 2nd. I attended. There were probably 8 or 9 other chapter chairs in the meeting. Not the best turnout, but a good start. Hopefully that'll attendance will increase as we go along. Jim wanted to start off by discussing how to recruit new members and where to find young broadcast engineers to replace us as we retire. And can SBE assist with educating those interested in broadcasting? Most of it was a lot of storytelling by some radio engineers that were in the meeting about how they got their starts and how difficult it is for them being the only engineer for many stations. But I think the idea is some seeds have been planted to kind of do some thinking for the next meeting and how we can assist with, or how SBE can assist in recruiting new engineers and educating engineers. So if you have ideas on that, and you want to share that, by all means, reach out to me or any other chapter chair. That's all there is on that. And we did talk a little bit about internships at stations. You know, we've done that here in the past. And I think that's very helpful to, you know, kind of promote broadcasting, what it's all about. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I think once they get in the door and see what one person has to do, maybe they're not too interested. Hopefully we'll be able to make some progress on that front. It's nice that Jim is doing this and engaging chapter chairs. His notes for this month, upcoming webinars. If you haven't been haven't done any of the CBNT and CBNE study topics, we're up to module 5 on June 9th. Module 4 was yesterday. It's a very good series. Wayne does a great job in presenting this, and very thorough. Anna Marie, she kind of overlooked my shoulder on a couple of them. And no, we're not supposed to do that, but I think you're finding it interesting too, aren't you? And very informative,
Yeah, they are.
and possibly move to taking the certification exam at some point. You had a question for Gary about certification, didn't you? Anna Marie?
Yeah, I was wondering if SBE had a like study guide for the exams.
Do you get
Or-
those after you sign up for the exam, or I thought there were study guides, or can you get those ahead of taking the exam?
I believe there are. I think if you look on the website, I think there's information there about registering for the exams, and it's been a long time since I've looked at that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I've seen the stuff for registering for the exams. I just was looking for like study material. I mean, Wayne's got a bunch of books that he recommends for, studying.
I don't know if they still do, but I thought they had sample exams at one point.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if they still have that.
Okay. I'll try to do some research on that and then reach out to Megan Quapp if I can't find it on the website.
Thank you.
Okay. June 23rd, 2 p.m. Introduction to Successful Troubleshooting. Take the Next Step, Module 1. I thought they did some successful troubleshooting Module 1 things before. I thought this was going to be 2, but it had been promoted as 2. Now it's back up to as being promoted as Module 1. I'm not sure why. Anyways, and that June 9th one, by the way, that's a new date on that Module 5. It was, I think, originally scheduled for June 6th. Then June 28th is Module 6 of that CBNE series. Renew your membership. We went through that in the last 2 months. Don't forget to renew your membership if you haven't already. You have another couple of weeks where you can do that. If you'd like to take a certification exam, the next exam period is August 5th through 15th. You have to have your application in by June 10th. And the membership drive is still underway. It goes to the end of this month. By recruiting a new member, you get $5 off your dues next year, and you're eligible for a bunch of prizes. This is new. SBE added a member profile section to their website. It allows members to add some personal information to their membership listing. You can add Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn social networking page links and a profile picture, which will be visible to other SBE members. So go to the sbe.org if you want to do that. Our expo, as we've said before, Thursday, September 29th, with national meetings on the 28th and 29th, promoted by Wyndham and Liverpool. We currently have 10 booths sold and a gold sponsorship sold, and we're going to start hitting up potential exhibitors again. Probably another week. We'll let things settle down from NAB. Usually it takes about a month after NAB before booth registrations really start picking up. With any kind of luck, we'll sell all 51 booths and be in great shape for this year. And Vinny and I are going to get together, work on the attendee database, which needs some cleaning up. There are some people that aren't alive anymore that are in there, and people that have moved to different jobs. And we'll do this via Zoom one day. We'll just put it up on the screen and go through the database and clean it up before we send out an email blast to potential attendees. It's a pretty big database, and that's going to take some time to go through. And again, if you'd like to help out with the expo, as we get closer, there's going to be a lot of work to do, and we can use your help. Just reach out to me, and we'll get you on board. I hope to start regular expo meetings in June, and do those every couple of weeks via Zoom. And thank you to Eddy Vanderkerken, who's our presenter tonight. Eddy has donated a door prize for our show. It's a true RMS multimeter. You have to attend to win it, so come on out. And thank you, Eddy. We appreciate that. And that's all I have for new business. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to discuss? If not, I'll make a motion to close the chapter 22 business meeting. Peter, second. All in
Second.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. I didn't think there'd be anybody opposing that. Anything going on in your workplace you'd like to share before we move on to the presentation? Anything in the broadcast business you're concerned about? No. Okay. Well, we welcome Eddy Vanderkerken, owner of Sourcerer, for tonight's presentation, and let Eddy take it away, and I will unshare my screen.
Okay,
If I get the prompt again.
if I can share mine.
Oh, it's up here, it's hidden. Okay, you should be able to share yours now.
Yeah, and if I can move this away, then I can open up. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Uh-oh, I gotta get this pin. Oops. There must be a way to get rid of that. Maybe if I just don't touch it anymore, it'll go away. Yes, it does. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So good evening. Thank you for having me to give you a little presentation about me, my company, and my products. And as just said a couple of minutes ago, if you want to see me live, it will be possible because I have one of the booths reserved at the show at the end of September. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. So today I wanted to talk about test and measurement tools, both for radio and TV. Most of them are for TV because there is much more stuff around, but I have both. And I want to concentrate on the things that also have interested me in the last 7 years that I started my company to source test and measurement equipment, which is handhelds, battery operated, cool test and measurement tools, but always looking at quality and performance and pricing. I used to work with Rohde and Schwartz, and of course they have wonderful equipment. It's just a little bit expensive, and I'm trying to find this other golden path where there is really good tools on the market at a affordable price that people should know about, and that's what I'm here to say. I go to a lot of shows either to show my stuff or also to look around for new things. One of my favorites is IBC in Amsterdam. I will go this year also in September, and I'm looking around for anything that might be interesting for this market. And certainly when they are ATC3 capable, they pique my interest. So, okay, where should I click now? Here. So we're going to talk about products and their applications. And, you know, there's a bunch of slides, but foremost, what I wanted to say, if any of you have questions, you can wait until the end, or you can ask me immediately. I don't mind. Usually when also I do a live presentation, I have some freebies to give away and a door prize, and people can put their hands on the equipment that I have as demo equipment. But today, those three things are going to be difficult. But again, let's relay that to September, where I will have freebies and I will have the door prize, as you just saw. And you can, of course, try out the equipment that we're going to talk about today. So I started in 2014 after going away with Rohde and Schwartz. I tried to do a really honest business with good tools, probably brands that are known, but also some brands that are unknown. But I'm a one-man company and I need good tools because otherwise nobody's going to buy from me twice. So, you know, if you know anybody in the industry that has bought from me, I hope they'll tell you good things about me. I try to find, you know, the good things at good prices, get you some extra warranty. I include sometimes some cables or a transport case or things like that into the mix, as of course these manufacturers give me a little margin to work with. So I use that for everybody. Here's my company. My org chart is really complicated and very simple. It was very different from before when I was just in sales, and now I'm kind of in everything. I do my own accounting, I do my own website, marketing, things like today, presentations, I do shipping, I do all the support on the phone, I do shows and so forth. The only thing that I have handed out is security. As you can see, there's somebody that is much better than me for that purpose. All right. So let's dive into the equipment. And for starters, let's start with the video, uncompressed video. This is a South Korean tool that I found that is pretty small. It's you know, like 2 cigarette packs almost. It's a video monitor that basically has an SDI input and an HDMI input. And it has a twin that, besides the SDI and the HDMI, also still has VGA and analog inputs. The nice thing about the box is that not only it will show you the picture and it will show you a vector and waveform and so forth, but also it will convert the signal that you put in on one port to the other ports. So if you have the small one with just SDI and HDMI, let's just say you gave it an SDI signal, not only it shows you all the stuff on the screen, but also it converts it to HDMI or vice versa. It also looks at audio, and the pricing for this tool is around $1,000. So if you have a need for a simple test tool for the video environment, like the studio, this might be a nice tool to have into your toolbox or your pocket, as it does many things. You can also use it as a generator, so you can create like color bars or a moving test pattern into an SDI cable, and then at the other side, go look if it derives, and therefore check which cable is the right one or if the signal actually comes through. The same, but a little bit more complicated, comes from a company in the United Kingdom, in England. Their name is Fabrics, and they have multiple tools, but the ones I like the most are not the ones on the bottom, which are the rack mounts. They're really nice too, and they have kind of the same functionality, but I prefer the handhelds. I'm a handheld guy, I guess. So at this point, I have 3 different tools that are kind of similar. But some do analog, some do digital up to HD SDI, some go up to 3G SDI, and one, which is the blue one in the middle, has a port where they can put FSPs in with either optical or the HDMI connectors, but that allows you also to use the tool for IP. So if you have upcoming IP streams, it's besides your SDI streams in the studio to look at, the box in the middle kind of does everything that you might wish for. And again, it is both a generator, it is an analyzer for audio and for video. It gives you a waveform, vector scope, the video, the audio. One box even does eye height and jitter measurements. It can look at Dolby audio and so forth. So they go pretty far. They are slightly more expensive. These units, they move between about $3,000 to $10,000, depending on what it is that you all want in a box. But for example, the one in the middle that does already a whole lot, that goes for like $4,500. And in its IP version, it's about $7,500. So it's not cheap, but it is still affordable when you look into what these items can actually do. They're, you can see at the hand holding the box how what their size is. So they're very carryable and very useful. Lots of features in them. Any questions so far? I hear nothing, so I assume it's good. All right, so let's go to compressed video. One of the items that I found, and this is from the Netherlands, it's a company called Electronica DVS, and they have really small probes and several probes actually, but the one I like the most is the one that is on the screen. They call it the ASI-Pod, and it has an ASI in and an ASI out connector. They are the size of a lighter or a credit card, but thicker. And you just connect them via USB to your laptop. So all the software will go on your laptop, but the device itself is something you really can put in your pocket and take with you. So it is capable of looking at ASI streams, recording it, and then even playing it back. So it also becomes a ASI generator to test with. The software comes with it and it's free, so you can always download a newer version from the web. You only have to buy the device once, and then, anytime there is updates for the software, you get those. Like I said, they have different other probes. They have also IP converters, meaning you can have like SDI in and IP out, or IP in and SDI out to convert some of your SDIs already to IP, and vice versa. Again, these go around $1,000 for this pocket-sized tool, so it's pretty inexpensive when you look at what it can do. Almost the same but different. A company called DeckTech, you probably heard about them. Some people do have some of their tools. They are very strong also in probes. Their most known probe is the one on the right bottom here. It is the box that has both an ASI input, but also an RF input. And it is capable of looking at not just the ASI, but also 8VSB RF. So for ATSC1, you can do a full analysis of the RF that comes in, see the constellation, do MER measurements and so forth. So again, this is slightly larger tool, but again, it would probably fit in your pocket. A lot of people use it if they need to take something with them in the field because it is just so compact to work with. Again, of course, you will require a laptop or a computer to operate it, as it connects via USB to the software that you will use with it. These people, however, do sell their softwares. They have different software packages depending on what it is exactly that you want to do, whether it is ASI or SDI or RF, and if you want to analyze or generate and so forth. They have a whole catalog, not just of the probes, but also of the softwares. More ASI, probably the best known brand in the market, Triveni Digital. In my mind, they probably have the best transport stream analyzers on the market. So if you need to know everything that is in your ASI transport stream, literally everything, they go to the absolute depths of what you can look at. And they will do long-term monitoring. Their boxes can also monitor at the same time the closed captioning, whether that's working. They can monitor for audio according to the COM Act to see if you don't have any abrupt audio level spikes and things like that. Now, of course, this is a more expensive tool. Let's just, for sake of ease, say that they kind of start around $10,000 and they go up from there. But again, if you have a lot of ASI issues, or you are interested in ASI monitoring on a large scale and being able to go back in time and see how things were a week ago, a month ago, compare them to today and so forth, this is really a great tool. I still hear no questions, so I'll just go on. Also, sometimes I get the question for closed captioning monitoring, but on the SDI level. Fabrics has a tool that can do that. And DVO in California, they have a, they call it the AllView. It's a monitoring receiver. So you give it RF, but not only it decodes the picture and you see that on the front screen, but also on that blue screen on the right side that you see, they have the closed captioning scrolling so that you can actually also see whether closed captioning is present or not. So a bit more RF oriented. For those that have a transmitter to look at, Avitec is a company out of Canada, and they have some monitoring tools that you either build into or close to the transmitter, or that you could carry around, like the one on the left. But again, they need a computer to be operated. What these instruments do is they go very deep into the RF component of the transmitter. So if you're looking for average power ratio measurements, SNR, MER, but most of the time also, besides the monitoring, do the commissioning of the transmitter, this is the box today that can do it. It used to be the ETL from Rodinger Schwartz for the ATSC1 transmitters, but that box has never been updated to ATSC3. So today it's kind of becoming obsolete because apparently that's never going to be implemented. And the precision that you need and the measurement spectrum that you need, all the features today is basically only found in this Avitec units. So you will probably see installers carry it with them when they come to install a new transmitter. Or if you ever go to like a Harris or a Comark, they might have this tool also to look at the transmitters when they are leaving the factory. More RF. I carry some really nice real-time spectrum analyzers. Again, they need to be connected via USB to a laptop, but the name to fame of these Aeronia, which is a German company analyzers, is they are super, super fast. I'm talking, they do FFT measurements with very high resolution and a very deep sensitivity, and they scan about 1 terahertz every second. So for instance, if you're looking at a 10 megahertz span, that means 100,000 scans a second. So the screen is just as fast as the computer that you attach to it can make it, because the instrument is extremely fast. And so when people are looking for interferers or intermittent signals, this thing captures everything. So as soon as signals are longer than like 100 nanoseconds, they will be captured by the unit, which by the way is real time, but it has a recorder capability. So not only you can look at it instantaneously, but you can record the whole incoming stream and then do your analysis afterwards if you need to do that. So right now their maximum frequency goes up to 6 gigahertz or 8 gigahertz. The next units that are coming out later this year are 18 gigahertz and 26 gigahertz and so forth. They intend to go much higher in frequency, but I guess for broadcast applications, probably 6 or 8 gigahertz is more than enough. This is, let's see if I can make this work. I hope this works online. This is a measurement that was made last year in July when the Blue Origin space flight came back landing. And these people not only wanted to monitor all the communications around where they were doing this, but also record it so that if anything weird would have happened, they could replay what was happening in the RF spectrum. And you know, nothing did happen, but they were very happy to have this type of analysis and record. I'll just play it once more. Probably gives you an idea of the speed of the RF spectrum, and it really gives you a feeling like in the old days where you had the analog spectrum analyzers, where you can kind of see the modulation inside of the spectrum. So not just the maximum peak, but really the spectrum inside the spectrum. It is so fast that it captures, you know, everything, even if it's on the same frequency but at a different level. You see like the green spectrum, you can see those spikes which are below the maximum, but you see every individual channel there. Oh. Now this time I want to go to the next slide, and all right, it worked. So next to spectrum analyzers, these guys also make a lot of antennas. Basically omnidirectional, magnetic, electrical, but their best ones are the directional ones. So they are handheld antennas that have high directivity, so that when you are looking for an interference, a disturbance, something, you can point the antenna around, and the analyzer obviously will measure with a higher amplitude when you are directing the antenna at the source of the signal. And so you can start and go hunt for the source of that signal. We also have network analyzers. And again, these are compact and connected to a computer via USB. They are the same quality and give the same results as what people had, like HP 8753 and so forth. Today, you will find most installers again, or people that will come and shoot signals up your line and measure your antenna and look for bad bullets and so forth. You have probably in the broadcast market, you have a 90% chance today that that person will bring one of these tools with them to do those measurements. So they have been really well spread into the broadcast industry. And even if you go to manufacturers of filters and antennas, not to mention ERI or RFS or dielectric, they all use these network analyzers in their factory for their filter and line and antenna measurements. So these network analyzers, start at around $3,500, which is a really good price for a network analyzer. They do quickly go up to between 10 and 15,000, but then still you get way more analyzer than if you would buy a $30,000, $40,000 instrument from one of the big companies that does exactly the same, but has its own screen and has its own keypad and has its own power supply. In this case, you need to connect it to a computer, but they are really powerful and they are really fast as well. As you can see, 70 microseconds per measurement point. So even if you do 1,000 measurement points, it is still very, very fast and fast enough to do filter tuning. They have compact tools as well. It's basically half a network analyzer. So it's a network analyzer functionality, but just one port. So there is a sweep generator inside. There is a bridge inside, so you can measure the reflection. And so they can be used for VISWAR measurements, return loss, cable loss, distance to fault. You can use Smith chart, you can do polar, anything you want. Of course, you can't sweep through something because then you would need two ports. You need to either fall back onto the full network analyzer, or you need two of these, which is kind of a bit counterintuitive to have a one port analyzer and then use to sweep through a filter, for instance, but it would be possible. So true handheld for ATSC1 and ATSC3 to test to see what comes out of the transmitter, if it works or not, or if you have reception somewhere in the field, is this, it's the size of a walkie-talkie almost, but it has a screen that can show the spectrum, that can show you the picture, and there is the sound. Also, it does level measurement, MER measurement, signal to noise measurement, and that's about it. So it's a nice tool that you can set to any frequency you would like for the US channels, and if it is modulated with ATSC1 or ATSC3, it'll give you a lot of information already on your transmitter. The price for this unit is about $2,000, so it's not very expensive, but of course it has a limit functionality. You could not use it, for instance, to look at the transport stream or look at satellite, or use for drive test. It would be difficult. You know, there's several things that are certainly not for commission testing for your transmitter, but again, for a checkup, it's certainly very valid. I'll give you a few screenshots of what it does. So as you can see in the middle, there is the constellation diagram for when you have an ATC3 transmitter. But on the left side also, you'll see power, carrier to noise, MER, and so forth. Top left, the spectrum. So again, it can be a very nice tool to have. It has limited functionality, but it works very, very nicely. So if we dive into the better gear, first off, there is a Spanish brand that they created, the Hexalon. It is very funny to see, but in the US, you would expect a few manufacturers of test and measurement to come up with ATSC1 and ATSC3 specific equipment. And no, they have not. There is no American manufacturer right now that does anything that even comes close to this. So I had to go to the Spaniards, and they make, this is a handheld. I would call it a portable. It weighs quite a few pounds. I think it's 5 pounds, but it's battery operated, so you do not need a computer for it. This is a tool that has RF in for off the air, for satellite, for cable. It has IP in, it has ASI in. And it literally does all the measurements that you might want to do on a ATC1 or ATC transmitter. So that includes 4K decoding, transport stream analysis, drive test with a GPS antenna, and so forth. Let me again show you a few screenshots. So of course, there is a spectrum analyzer on board. You can look at constellation diagram. You see the pie chart with your transport stream with all the programs inside. Here you have the, again, constellation diagram for ATSC3, all the ATSC3 information. It can act as an RF recorder. Here is some shots of the spectrum analyzer. You can use the spectrum analyzer as a pure analyzer, or you can use it together with a waterfall display. So again, for intermittent signals, they would show up in the timeline on the waterfall. There's overview measurements and so forth. You can do logging, you can do GPS drive test with it. You can connect it to your LNB for satellite reception. So all those things it can do. This goes for slightly more money than all the other tools, but I'm still talking about $9,000 for this unit, and it's really comprehensive for that price. They do have a few options, and I usually sell about two customers, and I always give one of those options away for free so that nobody can complain they had to buy too many options. So yeah. This is the tool that if you come by my booth in September, you really should have a look at. By the way, there is a radio functionality also in it, and it does all these measurements also for radio, included RDS. They tell me they are working on HD radio as well. Just again, to give you an overview, so you can look at multiplex spectrum, it looks at all the modulations, it tells you what is inside of the RDS signal. It gives you that histogram of what your modulation is and if you're over modulating or not. The spectrum analyzer gives you the information of what your signal looks like, including the HD radio. And even with the waterfall display, as you can see, it's really nice to see those digital sidebands there. So all that can be included at once in one unit. The other manufacturer in the world that does ATC1 and ATC3 test equipment that I found is also Spanish. You know, you would wonder how this is even possible. Nobody else seems to make anything. And so Promax is from the other side of Spain, but nevertheless, and they are working on this portable unit that kind of will have a functionality that is very close to the Hexalon. I do already have one of their prototypes with me, so I can already show it. But the production only starts around September this year. So right now you can't have a unit yet. And the price hasn't been really fixed yet. But again, I think it will be in the area of $9,000 to $10,000 for a full-blown box. What they do already have is the ATSC1 versions. I've sold those for 8 years now. So the Ranger series, and I have a demo tool as well. Already many people in the broadcast industry have bought that box. It's kind of almost the same. It's battery operated, it's portable, does all those measurements, including spectrum and so forth, ASI. It's just only that today, those units can only be used on ATSC1 transmitters with 8 VSB, but not yet on ATSC3. That will be the new unit. And the existing units also include radio, by the way. So again, multiplex spectrum, all the modulations, and so are included in that unit as well. For people that only have radio, there is a FM monitoring tool that comes from Broadcast Engineering that I sell. And you literally put it either in you connect it to your transmitter or you connect it to an antenna and it will pick up the signal on air. And you get a screen on your computer as shown here on the screen, where again, all the multiplex, your stereo separation, all the modulations, all the levels are all being shown and all being monitored. So the nice thing about this is that it can be done remotely. So you don't need to be where the box is. You can set it up anywhere you want and then look at all the results in a remote fashion. This unit sells for $3,000. But again, I guess except for HD radio, which it does not do, it is a really nice FM receiver and monitor. Okay, So I haven't heard a peep yet, so I hope you're still all there. Are there any questions that I could answer?
Yeah, I got one, Eddie. Do you
Go ahead.
mind if we post this meeting on our web or video site?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
My pleasure. Any other questions?
No, thank you for your presentation, Eddie. It was very informative.
Yeah, I try to be, without being too salesy, but for me, the important part is for people to know that these things actually exist. As I said, sometimes I wonder why in the local market, you know, I'm certain if I found something that was US made, everybody would jump on it, but I simply can't find it because it's not out there. The only ones that say they have something is Sencor, and they have a tool called the STM 1530, but then that looks exactly the same as the handheld that I showed, you know, the walkie-talkie size unit, because that the Spanish company is who makes it, and Sencor just stamps it with their name. So I can't really call them the manufacturer of it. And end of story. There is simply, you know, I look constantly to find better, nicer, cooler tools, but right now this is what I know is on the market and works. And I'm very glad I can show it to you so people at least know that they exist and they are available.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Eddie,
Yes.
I was looking at a deck tech. The card that goes into the computer, a PCI card.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that unit?
Okay. Let me go quickly back to that slide. Okay.
Yeah, the top
Yeah.
unit.
Yeah, the one on top there. So yeah, it's a PCI board that you obviously plug into a computer. What it does is it is a worldwide receiver for TV. So depending on the software that you use with it, it can do you know, DVB-T, it can do ISDBT, but also it can do ATSC1 and ATSC3. So for the ATSC3 capability, they have a software like it shows on the left side there. It's the ATSC3 Expert software. And in conjunction to this card, that is the functionality that you get. So you can make it a monitor for ATSC3 by using this board. Now, I can tell you that probably by September, DECTEC is coming out with an ATSC3 receiver probe. I've seen the shape. It's like a cylindric probe. It's no longer a rectangular block. But that also will then immediately connect over USB to a computer, use the same software, but the form factor will be different. So it will be a probe powered and controlled through USB instead of the PCI board in this case.
Thank you.
Do let me know if you want the data sheet on it. I can send it to you if you want.
Alrighty.
Yeah, maybe you need to, maybe you can go via Tom Nichols or so and give your email, or perhaps also, I think my email was in the back here. You could, of course, send me your information. Nope, my email is not on there, but if you go onto my website, you know, www.sourcerer.biz, you will easily find my my email there on the contact page.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Anything else?
Vinny, did you already ask if we could share this recording?
Yes, I did,
Okay,
and
I had
he
that.
said,
I
okay,
had to restart my audio.
yeah. Also, I've been redoing the chapter's YouTube channel. It's at SBE 22 TV. And here's what it looks like. Most of the meetings from the last couple of years are up there posted. So if you missed any or you want to see any, and there's some old stuff from Expo a long time ago there as well. So
I believe there's a link in the meeting notices I send out. Go back and look and make sure I've still got it in there. Great. Eddie, that was great presentation. Some cool toys there that
yep.
wish I had
Oh,
money to spend, but
That's what I try to do, is find the cool toys. So, yeah.
Thank you, Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely my pleasure. So,
Thanks, Eddie.
and like I said, I will have most of them with me in September. So if you want to hold them, feel them, play with them, you know, that's your chance.
Take one home. Yeah.
Oh yeah, take one home. It will be a multimeter though.
Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you in September, and thanks for your support of the expo.
Yes, my pleasure again. You guys have a great evening. See you soon.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
All right.
Good night.
Don't forget, June 15th is our next meeting. The micro migration to the cloud by Jared Timmons, SVP Solutions at TVU Networks. Hope to see you then.
All right.